I felt like the stairs were actually just kept getting higher and higher,
Mm-hmm.
and I stayed at the top of the stairs. It's like they were going up into the clouds, into like a white, a white kind of spirit.
That's very good. Follow the stairs.
I'm at the top. I've just been standing at the top.
Mm-hmm.
There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to walk.
Okay. That's okay. What
Okay.
else do you see there?
Okay, so I see Jesus. He's like going like this.
Mm.
Like follow. Time to follow.
Good.
He's walking away.
Do you have a body there?
Like a very old white, like old man with a white beard and like a white robe.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's white. When you were counting, it was like Jesus was holding my elbow. Like I'm like this really old man who needed help walking. And it was like a joke. It was like a joke.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, what a old soul you are. Just kind of teasing me.
Why don't you ask him? Are you an old soul?
Well, yeah, he's just being silly, just joking. So the answer is yes.
Good. Why don't you continue and follow Jesus? Where does he want to take you?
I see trees and some grass.
Keep going on. Keep following him. Use his guidance.
It's like an open area, like maybe near a house.
Is that your house? And whose house is this?
I see like a wooden chair.
Mm-hmm. What else do you see in the house? What else can you describe in the house? Trust your first impressions.
Maybe there's a woman talking.
Mm-hmm. Is she a young woman or an old woman?
Maybe early 30s, like long hair. Just chatting, having a daily conversation.
Very good. Can you hear how she calls you?
I guess she's Martha talking to Peter. Martha, the wife.
Mm-hmm. Are you Peter?
Yeah, it's like she's putting away a plate. Like for eating.
Mm-hmm.
Just cleaning.
Very good. So you live there?
Okay, I think the point of this is like a lot of Peter's life was just a normal daily life. There's normal happy times. So there was like, and life was not always in the Bible. The life always seems so intense.
Mhm.
So there were many times just normal life, spending time together.
Very good.
Okay, now I see a group of people sitting in the living room.
Allow yourself to be in that living room. Let's find out who they are.
Okay, I'm standing and talking to them. I think maybe they're like the apostles. They have one of them has like a beard and a headdress. I'm getting the message. Tell Alejandro it's you. You're in the room,
Am I in the room?
in that life.
Mhm.
You have like a closely cut beard, like light brown.
Mhm.
It's like you're sitting down, kind of casual, but leaning forward, like ready to talk.
And what is the name of this?
Me, it might be, yeah, Barnabas. Um, the book of Acts, they call
Mhm.
it. It's like he does, Paul, Saul becomes Paul.
Mhm.
In the book of Acts, Saul becomes Paul after he's persecuting the apostles, but then he sees Jesus, and then he becomes one of the main uh, apostles. And his main partner was Barnabas. So Paul and Barnabas would travel to different cities, teaching the message after Jesus died. I don't.
What
So yeah, you're.
What do you feel your role is there with these apostles?
Uh, Maybe just making plans and talking about the teaching,
Mhm.
like a discussion, but it's kind of casual.
And is Jesus there?
think this is after he died.
Mm.
And because I think Barnabas becomes part of the story after Jesus died, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he may be part before, he's just, they don't talk about him before, I think, and before he dies, Jesus dies. And I'm seeing this scene first because Jesus wants us to learn, he wanted everyone to learn more than anything that we are equal to him.
Yes, we do.
He's a soul Jesus was just a human who's very wise.
Just as we all are. Just as you are.
So the point is he wanted us to become like him, and we were doing that after he died. And you look like you look like you've been traveling.
Mm-hmm. And is there a message for me?
The message I'm seeing Barnabas stand up. The message is like you could stand up and teach others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure you're already doing that with the QHHT, but as much as you want to, you could stand up and share, tell people how to live. Okay, and so you stood up, shook my hand, and then you walked out of the front door.
Okay. Very good.
Now I'm outside.
You're outside? Tell
I'm
me more.
out. I'm outside.
Tell me more. What is outside? What can you see outside? What's happening outside?
Okay, now I'm talking to people.
Mm-hmm. People just in the village? Who are these people?
Some city, and I see it's like a sunset.
Mm-hmm.
It's a symbol. It means just like the sun goes down and night begins. It's a symbol of that the world changes completely in two ways. One for everyone. Just the message spreads how to live a better life, more compassionate, more connected to God instead of putting yourself below God like an animal. And then the second way the entire world changes is the shift from the sun to the moon is like the shift from the mind to the heart. And when you live through the heart, it's like entirely different world, entirely different reality, entirely different life. And the moon is more cool than the sun because you have quieted the thoughts and the mind. And all that you see, the reflection on a full moon is like a white light, and the white light is like the reflection of God, and you are that life, and you are that God, and it's just reflected through you in that life, in the life you're living. And I guess I was saying something like this to the men. I think it's this. I'm just seeing like some of the people. It looks like some very old men, and I think they look old because it looks like their elderly age represents there's some people who are ready to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And they were listening sincerely. They were not like arguing or ignoring me.
Like you were teaching them.
Yeah, just sharing what I know, sharing what was working for me. Now they're walking away, so it's finished. Okay, and now I think I'm home again with Martha.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just sitting on a chair, and it's kind of like we're just resting, just kind of hanging out, just resting before bed. And then it's like I was talking and teaching, and now it's like, okay, now I could just kind of practice what I was teaching and just relax and enjoy being with Martha. I'm seeing some children. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Are those your children? Trust your first impressions. What do you feel? Trust your feelings.
Okay, I'm seeing children dancing, like they're playing and they're holding hands in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
And children are dancing. They're all boys. They look like they're like 4 years old, and they have their head. Oh, I see. Okay. So okay, so these boys all look exactly the same. They're like all equal. And one of them was me, and one of them was Jesus, and then there's other boys. Hey, they look the same, and they're all holding hands, and they're all equal. And their head is all tilted. Their head is tilted to the left. And this is the same as the Sufi Muslims, like Rumi.
Mm-hmm.
They dance and spin in a circle, and it's like they connect to God and to the earth at the same time. And the boys are holding hands because they're all part of the same oneness. And because they're young and they have that purity that we could all reestablish, they can dance and be part of that oneness. And they have the most fun when they're not thinking of themselves as an individual. They're fully connected to each other. It's like they are it's like they're different boys, but it's the exact same heart in each of the boys. It's just the one heart is multiplied. And actually, the boys may be different, but the heart is the same.
Mm-hmm.
And
Are
they
you part of the boys?
It broke up. You say that again?
Are you part of the boys?
Oh, yeah, like I said before, it's like I was a boy and Jesus was a boy. It's like I think we knew each other as boys.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, now I see the boy. Jesus telling the boy to lie on the grass and take like a rest, like a sleep. And I see the boy sinking into the grass, into the earth. Okay, now the boy he sinks all the way to the center of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like not only is so the same heart that's in each of the boys is the same heart that's in the center of the earth. And that we should not forget that. And each life is just an expression of this one heart that's at the center of every object and every person or object. I think I repeated that word, but
Mm-hmm.
okay, now Jesus is pointing at the stars and he's saying the same heart is at the center of each of the stars, and it's the same situation with the planets around each of those stars.
Everything is right.
Everything is what?
Connected. Stars, planet.
It's the same process in those other stars. Exact same. Just like the one heart multiplying itself over and over again. Just like God multiplying itself over and over again to have these different experiences and to feel and to have the experience of being connected to the other iterations or creations of God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I see Jesus eating a meal with a fork, and he's taking bites off of the plate. And it's kind of like evening, and there's a light over the table, and he's got like his left elbow on the table, and he's eating with his right hand, and he's like, look, I'm right-handed, like like a lot of people. I eat food like everyone else. I am not some superior God that is so different from you. I'm someone you can hang out with at the dinner table. Someone you can have a casual conversation with anytime you want. The
Thank you.
more you live through your higher self, the more we talk together, the more we are equal to each other. It's so easy to do. You just have to relax and stop listening to all your worrying. And then
it should be easy. However,
it's the mind that says it's not easy.
Yeah, exactly. Your ego.
The heart that says everything is so simple.
It should be that way.
Okay, so now he's walking to the door, and he kind of just casually waves goodbye. It's just very casual, just acting like a normal guy. He's like kind of like see you later, and just like walks out. Doesn't even wait for a goodbye. Just like catch you later. And he had on like his robe like went down to his knees, and he had sandals. So his like lower legs were just, skin. So it made him look like less serious. Okay, and now he's telling me to talk about his hair.
Okay. Go ahead.
So he has like a light brown. He has like a light brown reddish hair and beard.
Mm-hmm.
And his skin is not very dark. It's like lighter than a lot of Italians.
Mm-hmm.
But he is half Roman.
Okay.
Because his mother was raped by a Roman. And the reason is that something beautiful can come out. His life is something beautiful that can come out of the most horrible thing, like rape. And there's a lesson in that. And the story that his mother was a virgin was just a lie
Mm-hmm.
to make people bow down and throw their money at the priests and the ministers. And people need to know that he was conceived with normal sexual intercourse, and he had many siblings. He was not an only child. His mother.
How many did he have?
He's holding up his left hand. He's going like this.
5.
So I don't know if it's 5 total or 5 siblings, or it means at least 5.
Mm-hmm.
Something 5. But there's
And what about
there's 2 or 3 times they talk about his siblings in the New Testament.
Mm-hmm.
They forgot to delete that part.
And was he married? And did he have children? Because
Yeah, I'm seeing him with Mary. I think her real name was Miriam. And I'm seeing Jesus holding a baby, maybe a baby girl. And he's like rocking it. It's like he was a normal father, like any other father. And she loved him very much. And she was also like a normal mother. He was a normal father. She was a normal mother. So they had a normal family life. And they needed to. They need to have spiritual teachers need to have normal lives to be able to relate to other people. They need to experience the same things and live the same kind of lives. I'm seeing like him being out in the snow, like in the cold snowstorm. Well, not really a storm, but just like there's like a flurry coming down, and I guess this is Jesus, and I guess he's trying to say there were times he was really isolated. He felt very isolated, and definitely not. He felt very alone.
And is that part of his training, or what was the purpose of him being isolated?
Well, the point of this is that he had human feelings. Like there were times where he felt separation. You know, before we talked about connection to God and connection to others. Now he's telling me there were times he felt totally separated, totally disconnected and vulnerable and sad and weak. And then the other reason he's showing me this is like there were a big part of his life he was not worshipped. He wasn't worshipped like God floating around. He was a normal person, and there were people spitting on him. And he had to be spat upon to know what it's like to love people who are spitting on him. How could he teach other people to forgive if he didn't have to forgive people who were spitting on him and throwing rocks at him, and even like large rocks, and they're like people think they're way above him. They're people who are attacking him think they're way above him and telling him he's less than human. And he's down on his knees and they're attacking him and he feels vulnerable.
And what is your role as Peter with Jesus? Did you have a specific role with him, or just a follower?
To learn and to be a partner. It's like he was the quarterback. Oh, you know, the quarterback in football, American football. So it's like when he died, it was like the quarterback handing off the ball to the running back, and the running back has to continue going forward. And the other players are like the other apostles. The other players on the offense are like the apostles, and like the opponents, I'm seeing them in like gray uniforms. These are like the people who were against him, like the elite priest class of the Jews. But this was just a game of life. It's part of it. It's just playing that game was an intense thrill for both sides, even though they were very dark-hearted and violent. They were part of the one game that we created together. So don't forget that life is an artistic creation. It's a story that we create to live through and enjoy. And when we look back at the worst parts of that life, is we will look back as like what a thrill that was, and what a exciting challenge. And then when now I'm seeing like a guy scoring a touchdown, scoring a goal, right? When he scores a touchdown, it's like everyone celebrates together. It's like when we grow in life, have rich experiences, everyone celebrates together in spirit, at a spirit level. And I see like hundreds of people coming out of the audience, so they're all coming into the end zone. They're all celebrating with the guy who scored the touchdown, even the defenders, the opponents.
And may I ask a question to Jesus?
Yes.
Thank you. We are living tough times right now. We have going through a transition in the whole world, living complicated situations with the virus. As you know,
I'm seeing the same shift before I was talking about where the day changing into night. And you have to make this change within yourself. When you make the change within yourself, the world changes around you. And you see beauty that you never saw before. You see that the challenges are beautiful in a way you never saw them before as beautiful. Did you have another question or another part of that question?
Yes. What else do you recommend that we do during these tough times? Besides, of course, changing first on ourselves to change the world, and our future.
Forgive each other. Stop blaming each other and start hugging each other. People say something, you disagree with 1%, and they start foaming at the mouth and fighting. People need to hug each other and be friends again, instead of arguing on their computers. And don't blame other people for these challenges that you wrote in the script of life for yourself. The game is to hug and love and spend time with as many people as you can, instead of creating more and more enemies.
And what do we have to learn from all this?
Well, when you learn extreme hatred, you learn the value of forgiveness and love. And COVID has sort of it's like if you have a scrape on your knee, it's like COVID is like salt in that wound, or scraping that wound. And what was your question again?
What do we have to learn from all this experience? Because it's a learning experience for the whole world, all in at the same time.
Well, we have to learn that we're on a path of making things worse and worse and worse. And we need to start working together instead of we're finding new ways to divide from each other, to divide into groups and separate. We need to find ways to to remove labels and unify with each other. See that we all wear the same clothing. People need to talk to each other in a friendly way. There's too much analysis, too many concepts and ideas. People need to be more simple in the way they talk to each other. They need to we used to just enjoy talking to each other. The way we talk is now, it's so influenced by the way people talk on the internet. We need to talk to each other as if the internet did not exist, as if it was like 200 years ago. Talk to people like they're your neighbor. Become interested in each other. And I'm just seeing him. It's like just seeing Jesus putting his arm around some guy, like a neighbor, just walking with him, chatting.
Like a normal guy.
Maybe that's another part of it. Just enjoy being in the world together instead of staying in our heads.
Thank you very much for your advice and your insights.
He's bowing.
I am bowing.
He's pointing to me also because maybe I was saying some of my own opinions too much. But a lot of it was he was showing me symbols. A lot of it was him. So
good.
But he keeps looking so just lighthearted, just relaxed, and he keeps walking and walking, just to show that he's not some being up on a cloud, not like some angel, he's not like God as like some non-human God. He's a soul, as a soul that has had 1,000,000 lives.
As we all have.
And yeah, and that number is, I don't know, just I don't know, a poetic number, not a literal number, but he's had many lives, many failures and challenges, and the failures were part of were part of the story, the story of the life he was in. He has been down on his knees, struggling, like we all have.
Like we all have.
Yeah.
And can you ask him if he can?
Okay, now he's pointing at the sun.
Okay.
So I'm seeing a very bright sun, and the sun's rays are always present because God is always present. Just like the sun always covers the surface of your skin, God is always on the surface of your skin and the surface of everything, the walls, the floor, the grass. God is on top of everything, on the surface of everything and inside of everything.
We are all part of God, right?
Yes.
So, and can you ask him if he could perform a body scan for Grant, for you?
Well, first I saw a tombstone, like at a cemetery, and I saw a red rose. Okay, I guess the red rose has historically been a symbol of Jesus. And he's telling me that the idea of who Jesus was needs to die.
And why is that?
Because it's not the truth. The idea of who he was. It's just everything we've been talking about. People need to see he's an example. He's just like us. And the idea that he's not just like us needs to die, needs to be disappear completely. And then the red rose, when that idea dies, that concept dies, what he really is will bloom like the flower. And what we are will bloom like the same kind of flower. And I'm seeing the earth as a planet just covered in just billions of flowers that are all next to each other. Like the entire surface of the globe is covered in flowers. And even though they're all different colors, they're really all the same type of flower. So when the wrong ideas about Jesus die, then the world will be covered in flowers. Everyone will bloom. Billions of people will bloom. Like like that image of all the flowers covering the planet.
That's nice. That's very good and a good message. This is one of the ideas that he covers, that Jesus covers in the Course of Miracles, right?
I haven't read it. I don't know. I guess I know a little bit about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a book that Jesus wrote.
Yeah. The message keeps coming in many ways, many books. You know, that was one book. Some of the quotes that Jesus said in the New Testament, some of those were the same message.
Mm-hmm.
Alba's clients are saying the correct message.
Mm-hmm.
The message will keep coming in all different ways until people stop being self-indulgent. They want to keep listening to the ego. They don't want to, they hear the message and they say, oh, they could talk about it, but they don't do it. They don't live it. And that's why the message will it'll just keep coming. The message will be everywhere. You may hear the message from a neighbor or a friend saying something positive to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a message from God, from your own soul to you. It's the same message in the course as in the Course in Miracles, telling you to live as your true self. Stop listening to the excuses in your head. Simplify.
Mm-hmm.
I keep seeing Gina Lake. So Gina Lake is a incarnation of Jesus. She's teaching now, and if people want books, this is him. This is him back.
Mm-hmm.
He's having a million. He has millions of lives going. He has a million lives going on right now. Many on the planet right now, and Gina Lake is one of them. So her books are similar to A Course in Miracles. She has like a kind of a Hindu background, but she's American.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now the body scan.
Okay, very good.
So go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
Okay.
you talk, please. I need help.
All right, very good. So let's do a quick body scan. So Grant, take a deep breath. And Jesus, if you can help us see what's inside Grant's body. He feels his throat sometimes it's closed. He has some difficulty breathing.
Maybe there's a gray spot.
Okay.
In the throat, maybe.
Okay.
Okay, I need help.
All right, very good. Let's take this gray spot. Let's take it to your brain, to your head.
I'm seeing John Lennon. You know John Lennon?
Yes.
Okay, so he's wearing a white suit. He's wearing a white suit and glasses, and he's got long hair, kind of a trim beard, like he had in the late 60s.
Okay. And is he part of this gray energy?
Jesus, John Lennon was an incarnation of Jesus. He's pointing at me.
And what
Saying,
does he have to do with you?
he's like, you know what the fuck is wrong. Stop slacking. Stop being lazy. So Ringo was do you know Lazarus
Huh?
from the Bible, the guy, he died and Jesus
Yeah.
brings him back to life.
Uh-huh.
So
What's
Ringo Starr was Lazarus
okay.
in the life of Jesus. And I'm seeing an image like come back to life. Don't be dead. Live your life. Stop procrastinating. It's kind of like a funny cartoon. He's like a zombie ghost. Ringo.
And this is why your throat sometimes is closed, because you're not living your life as you should.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, now I'm seeing John Lennon tap dancing.
Mm-hmm. Tell me more.
Okay. So I watched this documentary. John Lennon is in Central Park in New York, and he starts tap dancing on this stage. It's like the band shell in Central Park, and there's a sign that says you cannot use the stage without a permit.
Mm-hmm.
And John Lennon is breaking the rules, and he's tap dancing in the documentary. So it's like you need to break the rules. Don't listen to society when they say negative things to limit you. Be crazy, be silly, you know, uh, you don't need permission to dance. you make your own rules because you are God. But of course, you have to be compassionate to others, but God is the author, and become the author of your own story. Life is not pre-scripted. You can write the life as you live it, as it goes along. We are not pieces on a chessboard.
That's a good advice. Is there anything else that you want to share with Grant?
Okay, so John Lennon took a bow. Now he's walking away.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Beatles. The Beatles came here to create music. And it was a message that life is like music.
In what way?
Well, it can be a beautiful artistic expression, a celebration. You just have to turn the radio on. The radio is in your chest. In your heart. We all decide if we have it turned off or turned on.
Mm-hmm.
We think it's easier just to turn it off and unplug the radio. But there's nothing more difficult than having the radio turned off, having the music turned off. Quitting is the most difficult thing, because the suffering that comes with quitting is the most difficult thing to do. And now I'm seeing you again. As Barnabas when he stood up on the couch. It's like time to stand up. And this is not really saying you are not doing this. It's just, this is an example.
Mm-hmm.
Just like everyone, stand up, be yourself, be active.
Live your life. Enjoy.
Be an example to others.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are better at being examples to others, just because their energy is so strong.
But there could be examples of what could be done right and examples of what could we do wrong as well. No? Both are good examples because we can learn from both, right?
Yeah, you and I and people like us can show others how to live, and to show others how to forgive themselves when they make mistakes. Forgive themselves and forgive others, and not let the mistakes you make and others make you stop moving. You could still keep moving, and
Mm-hmm.
you could put your arm around other people and help them keep walking, keep moving. Okay, so Barnabas, he took a bow again, walked out again. So everyone, I see everyone waving goodbye. Oh, I'm seeing Graham Chapman. Monty Python. Graham Chapman. He was in Monty Python. He's waving, and he was another life of Jesus, and he was gay in that life, and he had a lot of struggles, and he was addicted to alcohol. It was made him sick, and I'm seeing the life of Graham Chapman because he was tremendously vulnerable in that life because people did not accept gays. But at the same time, he was one of the funniest people on the planet, and he showed people to laugh. And the irony is that in the life of Brian, they made fun of the story of Jesus. Or they made fun of the way, I don't know, the church talks about it. Not really making fun of Jesus, but the inconsistencies of Christian beliefs and behavior. And Graham Chapman played the lead role, which is like a silly version of Jesus, the life of Brian. And I'm seeing him dressed in that that kind of tunic and like a yarmulke type of thing, and the sandals, and he just keeps waving, kind of like a child, like in a childish way, lighthearted way.
Okay. Is there an additional message that he would like to share with you, with us?
I'm seeing George Harrison.
Okay.
And he's playing his electric guitar, and he's saying I should play my music, and everyone should play their music. And George Harrison, he was friends with Jesus. Two lives of Jesus. He was friends with John Lennon. He was in the Beatles, and George Harrison helped out the Monty Python group with their finances. And
was he an apostle as well?
Oh, I was him.
Okay.
And now I'm hearing the Beatles song, The End. The title of the song is The End.
Okay.
And the lyric is and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make, or something like that. So that's the message, that it's the end, but also that the love you make is
it's what you take when you go.
Yeah, we need to. The love you make is living a life with love, doing the things you love, giving love to others, and then, like you said, we take these experiences back with us.
That's a nice message.
Okay,
It means that this is the end of the session, or there is more to share?
Well, I'm seeing an apple.
Okay,
And Apple was the company of the Beatles.
yes.
Why am I seeing an apple? It's kind of like the message is, oh, okay. So I'm being told to take a bite out of the apple, which means live a full life. But it's also a message that this should be how we think of an apple. Like the message is like the music of the Beatles or any music you love, and take this version of the apple as taking a bite out of it and living the life you love, sharing that love, and replace all the sin and shame in the Bible that the apple is a symbol of. Like the Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve take a bite out of the apple, and then they leave paradise. Well, the message is we are not in lives where we were thrown out of paradise. We are in lives where we create paradise, and we should not be chained by ideas of sin and shame and guilt and worthlessness and fear. We should just be like the Beatles, just playing our music, whatever it is. You could be a gardener, you could be a carpenter. If whatever your music is, just do that and forget about sin and guilt, because we're here to make mistakes. We're here to learn from mistakes. Even if we hurt others, we are here to learn to forgive ourselves, and they are here to learn to forgive us. What we think of as a sin was planned. We planned to make mistakes so that we have opportunities that only come from those mistakes.
This is where you learn, right?
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Very nice. Is there anything else that anyone likes to share? Jesus or Lennon or Barnabas or George Harrison? Chapman?
I'm seeing Alf.
Okay.
Alf was an American TV show about an alien. It was a comedy. I'm seeing him fly by in his little ship, just like waving.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's like saying,
It was Alf, no?
Yeah, ALF. Yeah, ALF.
Uh-huh.
Alien life form. ALF. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just saying that Alf was a guy in a costume, just like the human body is a costume,
Uh-huh.
and aliens are just like souls in a costume.
Like we all are.
And I guess we're going. I guess I'm seeing this because it's saying we are going to learn more about aliens, and they're just souls playing a role in the story, same as us. It's like a preview.
Uh-huh. Very good. Anything else?
And I'm seeing Alf flying his little ship into, like cowboys ride into the sunset.
Uh-huh.
It's like he's flying into a giant star or a giant moon. It's like a giant white circle.
Uh-huh.
It's like he's returning to source the same way we all do.
Nice. Okay.
And it's like the end of the movie where the cowboys go into the sunset,
Uh-huh.
ride the horses. Okay, I guess that's it.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to thank all the loving souls that helped us during this process. Jesus, Lennon, Barnabas, Chapman, George Harrison.
They're like in the audience watching you. It's like they're thanking you for the show. They're like standing in an audience, like watching you.
I think we are all in the same show, no? We're all the actors in the same show, and we're all one.
Yeah, but they're saying you were more of a lead today, the lead actor.
Yeah, that's my role maybe today. Well, thank you very much for the process and the information that you share during this process. And now I will ask you to return to your proper time and space where you belong, with much love and much peace.
They say no. They say no.
No?
No.
Okay.
They
Why
say
not?
they say they say we're always around.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
They're saying we're always here.
That's true. That's very true.